Big Shug, Big Shug. It's really real right now.
Mr. DL.
2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Who's all?
Oh man, we are here. It's the Danger Zone podcast number 15.
15, 1-5.
Got a special guest showing up today. Dana Barros used to play in the NBA.
No question, former all-star.
Former rapper, current rapper.
All that, man. Dana Barros, man, my man, fellow Mattapanian. You know what I'm saying? So he coming through. And what's good, man? What's popping this week, man? Well, or in general, hip-hop. You got any news for us?
I don't know. I'm going to start with the craziest thing that I woke up this morning, and it has happened again. Another person has come up and attacked a comedian.
Oh, whoa. I guess that's the new gangster shit, man. Run up on a comedian. Until that's that comedian that's going to fuck him up.
Yeah.
But I heard the dude who came up, ran up on Dave Chapelle in L.A. I believe it was L.A.
Hollywood Bowl, yep.
Yeah, Hollywood. I heard he got stomped out.
Yeah, see his arm was all twisted up.
Yeah, he was pretty fucked up.
Like the letter Z, his arm.
It's not even the thing to do, though. I mean, excuse me. Comedy is comedy. If you running up on a comedian because you can't take it, then you shouldn't even be there. So, but I'm surprised he was able to even get up on stage.
Yeah, because Dave Chapelle is notoriously known for not letting people use phones at his shows. So that's why the only footage we have is from like way in the back of the crowd.
Right.
And it looks like the people, you know how like when you take a photo on your iPhone, there's like a live mode. It kind of gives it a little video. That's kind of like what it looked like. It didn't really look like a real video. It looked like pieces pieced together.
Right.
So the guy ran across the whole stage, a big fucking stage.
Right.
And then just tackled Dave Chapelle. And then Jamie Foxx came to Dave Chappelle's defense in a cowboy hat. It was kind of weird.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just know that, listen,
You see it later?
motherfucker wouldn't want to run up if I'm telling jokes. And like, listen, I'm not going to say I'm going to beat up the world, but it's not going to be that type of place where it's like that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, comedy is comedy. You know what I'm saying? But
It's just crazy because, you know, I feel like, I'm like, why did he do that? I think to be famous, to get famous, and then it turns out that he had a weapon on him. I'm not sure what the weapon was. It probably wasn't a gun or a knife because they would have said he had a gun or a knife on him.
I mean, somebody did say he had a gun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they said that. So I guess it was found on him. But on a lighter note, you know, in that situation, though, if you rush a comedian and it's the wrong situation, you become at the other side of boots.
Yeah.
Because I heard they stomped the French fry shit out of him. So if that's what you're looking for, then you got it.
Yeah, he got fucked up.
On a lighter note, Dave Chapelle and Busta Rhymes will be going on a tour.
Yep.
And the tour will be called the Dave and Buster Tour.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's creative and it's hilarious at the same time because it is Dave and Buster. So,
It's a
and
great name.
I think the blend is dope too because it's comedy, man, and it's comedy and hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it should be a great tour.
Who opens? What do you think? The comedy goes first, then the energetic rap music?
I mean, I think you could do it. You can flip it around.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's a vibe. It's like watching probably a big giant TV in the living room, and you see a little like entertainment, and then you might see a little comedy afterwards, and you might go back to the entertainment. So who knows? We'll see. So stay tuned.
That's going to be a great tour. Now, this is something I heard recently. Busta Rhymes has never headlined a solo tour. And I disagreed with that at first, but then I couldn't ever think of a solo Busta Rhymes story. He's always with someone. Puff Daddy and the Family, Busta Rhymes. You know what I mean? He's always with someone. Like right now, he's with Dave Chapelle.
I mean, I don't know that. I'm sure he has his own tours because that happens. Like there'll be dates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, excuse me, when we were in Europe years back, there was a few dates that he had, and it was Busta.
Okay.
And then one we had a show was on the same night.
Were you at the same venue though?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. Like, you know, Only Smoking Grooves is the tour that we were on with him.
Oh, okay.
But, excuse me. Also, Pusha T says he hates the Clips album, the last one that they did.
Oh, no shit.
He says he just, you know, he doesn't like the album. He did also hint at the fact that him and his brother might be getting back together. He says on the album that you can almost hear that his brother's leaving the group. You know what I mean? He says he can feel that. Just
No Malice, right?
Yeah, just from hearing it. So shout out to the Pusha T and the Clips and No Malice. and he speculates very strongly that they will do another album. So that's what he's trying to make happen. And he says that he believes it will happen. So, you know, I am the brother's keeper, so he probably knows better than we do, you know?
Oh, yeah. Got a good one? I got a good one.
What you got, Will?
Yo MTV Raps is coming back.
Oh, word?
But without Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. So they don't, like, where is this going to be aired exactly? Because they don't even play music videos. I hate to be that guy, they don't even play music videos on MTV anymore. But they don't. So I don't see it being successful if that's the platform. But if it's on like a streaming service or something like that, I can see it being very successful.
I mean, you know they're bringing it back under the pretense that it will be successful. So
yeah,
they must have a plan because, excuse me, it's never even going to go past the powers that be if it's not a plan, like, and it doesn't look like something that could be. Now, shows flop and things like that afterwards, but you know, it might be interesting. We'll just have to stay tuned and see. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wonder why. Ed Lover still. I mean, he had that "Come On, Son" for a while. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He had that for a while, so he was staying in the light. But then ESPN ripped him off. You remember that? They did "Come On, Man" or whatever.
Yeah.
So he stopped doing that, and then I haven't really heard nothing from him since. So.
And Dr. Dre, if excuse me, if pictures that I see are truth telling, I believe he had his leg amputated.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, something like that, you know, so maybe that's why they wouldn't be the ones to do that now. And it's, you know, it's new times, so we'll see. That's something else we have to stay tuned for, you know, pay attention, huh?
Yeah, so Yo MTV Raps. And then
Yo MTV Raps.
The last thing I had for hip-hop this week was he's back again. DaBaby.
That's your man.
Just got charged for beating up someone on his music video in 2020, but he just got charged for it now.
It's crazy because, you know, the things that happen. I mean, now you have social media. Excuse me. Now you have social media, so everything's exposed.
Yeah.
Because back in the day when we were doing videos, Suckers Need Bodyguards, Gangstar, you know, we threw somebody in the dumpster. You know what I mean? You know, we, another video, man, we slapped fire, like somebody slapped fire out of somebody. Another video, someone got punched in the face. So, you know, now that it's social media, it's out in front of everyone, but it's really not how it necessarily goes down.
So when DaBaby's telling of the story, which who I like, but seems to not be the most level-headed person in the world. But and his telling of the story is he rented a house on Airbnb, and the house had a 12-person max limit, right? And the owner of the Airbnb of the house shows up, and he sees that there's a whole Porky Pig. He says there's a whole film crew and dozens of people hanging out. So he tells DaBaby to leave, and DaBaby's entourage beats him up. Now DaBaby's claim is that this guy was saying the N-word to them, which doesn't seem like someone would do that to 25 black people. Be like. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes people beyond inebriated.
True.
Like extra fucked up.
True story.
And they say, I've seen that happen, you know, and people stomp the melodies out of them. So, I mean.
I take back what I said. I'm going to say that the guy said it, because that's him right there.
He could have. But looks can be deceiving. Yeah. Also conniving. So who the fuck knows? You know, that's another note in the saga of DaBaby. You know what I mean? Also, shout out to my man, my brother, my homie, DJ Premier. This week, he has a show called So What's Up, and where he goes and he talks about when we were doing recordings and having them on floppy disks and what went into the recordings and how he went about making it. And it's a very entertaining piece, and he updates you on some of these songs you probably always wondered about. This week it was my single, Crush. He goes in depth about it behind the scenes. He also enlightens people and let them see Lil Mo. Shout out to Lil Mo at the Lil Mo show. Shout out to, that's my homie, where she's in the video. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't know that. So, you know, and that was my first single. That was like 96. So him, you know, speaking about that on the show, it's a blessing and an honor. And so check that out, DJ Premier's show, So What's Up.
So, just to go back to that last story real quick, I'm looking at this footage of this. The baby didn't even touch this guy. Look at it. Here's the guy getting beat up. Here's the baby way back here. So...
Yeah, he's a little too old to get beat up, though.
It looks like Ric Flair or something.
He said that, they probably should just slap the hell out of him and then just let him be on his way, man, you know? Yeah, you got something else there on that?
No, I think that was it for me. I'm just waiting. I don't know who's stupid as hell this week. And I'm just
stupid as hell.
Waiting. I just want to know. We had stupid as fuck last week.
You know what I'm saying? This week, a Massachusetts state representative has been charged with operating under the influence after being stopped by state troopers in Quincy, according to state police. Now, some other drivers noticed this car driving erratically. And not only was it driving erratically, it was on 3 wheels. So one tire had blown out and is on a rim. So the police are contacted. The police pull over the vehicle. And upon pulling the vehicle over, they have the strong odor. The strong odor of alcohol is coming from the car. They asked the driver, "Has he been drinking?" Which he answered, "No." That's number one, stupid. As they searched the car and looked in the car, he had 2 open cans of wine, some type of wine or cooler. One was empty, one was half empty.
Cans of wine.
He also had 9 empty bottles of empty nips.
Why did you keep these in your car?
Because he's drinking that right then. Yeah, and he was obviously drunk. So then,
stupid as hell. I was gonna ask you, why would he keep them in his car? But I forgot what we were talking about.
That's stupid as hell. Number 2. Another stupid as hell is when he gets out of the car. Now you tell the officers you haven't been drinking, and now you have to walk. And you have to do the sobriety test, which he failed. You know what I mean? So, you know, then he was arrested, you know, on spot. The reason, and this guy is, I believe his name is Eric LeBoeuf, or Eric LeBoeuf. It's spelled that French kind of way, so who knows? But Eric, he was state representative Eric LeBoeuf. I'm gonna say it's that. You're stupid as hell. The reason being that you're stupid as hell is for driving around with empty bottles of liquor, driving around after consuming all these bottles of liquor, driving around on 3 tires with 1 blown out, so that on the 4th one, and telling the officers that you had nothing to drink. You're obviously stupid as hell. And I'm not gonna blame it on the alcohol, because a sober mind starts out when we start drinking and doing whatever. But you, and also being a state representative where everyone knows your name and who you are, Eric LeBoeuf, you're stupid as hell.
Do you think you've ever been drunk enough to not know you were driving on 3 tires?
Nope, I've never been drunk enough to know that I was driving on 4. I don't get drunk
like that,
behind the wheel. You
the
know?
Noise that must make.
Yeah, you definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you get a flat tire, you can hear it.
And then it rips off.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then it becomes sparks. You know what I mean? So he was on some spark. He was probably sparking down the highway, if there's such a thing. You know what I mean? So that's this week's stupid as hell. Word. Yo, shout out to the Celtics, man. You know, in their 109-86 win over the Bucks to even that series at 1 game apiece. Now it moves on to Milwaukee.
This just came in. WNBA news. The WNBA will honor Brittany Griner with a floor decal of her initials and jersey number on all 12 team courts in 2022. I don't know about that, but I know about this about the WNBA. Their damn jerseys look like fucking NASCARs.
Oh, what?
With all the logos they got all over them?
Actually, they're trying to talk about that with a couple other professional leagues.
Oh, really?
So we'll see, man.
Look at her. She got 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, just
4. At least 4 on her front of her logo, front of her jersey.
And plus, they need more bread because they don't make the bread that the male counterparts make. Good to be here. Today, we also have a special guest with us. A fellow Mattapanian, Zavarian Brothers, legend in 2 games. You know what I'm saying? Boston College All-Star, former NBA Player All-Star. My man, 1,000 grand, Dana Barros. What's up, bro? How you, man?
It's all good. It's a pleasure to be here. So everything's lovely. Everything's lovely, man. I'm still alive.
If you could just, get people caught up to speed that might not know, I'm saying, about Dana Barros, where you come from and, how you got to where you are and what you've done,
I mean, Mattapan's fine. Just grew up in Mattapan.
Mm-hmm.
Just my mom and pops was 15, pregnant, 16 when they had me. So I was raised by my grandmother, who was like, you had to be A's and B's in school, or I didn't go outside the crib at all. So I was raised in a real strict, a household. But once I left the house, I just had that ball with me all day. And as I grew up, I got the nickname. People used to call me Ball Boy, and used to make fun of me at first. It was funny at first, you know what I'm saying? I always had the ball with me. So watching my pops when I probably say 3 or 4 years old. He's at a junior college game, and I'm watching him. And there's only 10 people at the game, right? But I'm just what the why my pops? What's this? And then I saw it, and from that day on, I just remember just wanting to do that forever. So, and it just kept growing. I slept with my ball, be you know what I mean? It was that type of just different, almost like a weirdo. I was totally on some other shit. So. And then as I got to high school, I became an athlete. I was super fast and just, crazy bounce. And I started playing football. And I think that really helped me from a basketball standpoint because I got used to the physicality of the game where people always thought me being shorter, they could take advantage of that. But that football really got me acclimated to that physicality of the game. And then I just started realizing junior year, I'm I might be all right. If they give me a chance, I'm gonna do that. If they give me a chance, all I want is a chance. You know what I'm saying? So
of course.
I go to BC, and I was actually gonna go play football. My 2 visits to BC were football visits. So I go up there with Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I'm hanging out with him in the dorm on a weekend visit. And all we did was play basketball all weekend. That's all Doug Flutie wanted to do, play basketball at the Plex. So So I'm about to sign a football scholarship. The last day, called my crib we got an extra basketball scholarship. You want it or not? So I'm oh shit, I'll take the basketball. Because at that time, bro, the Big East was the G League. You know what I mean? So I'm nah, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta go there.
Yeah, you bang that.
To show them that I could do it there. If I can show them I could do it there, then I'm good. So I took the basketball scholarship, and then man, it just took off from there. Man, my confidence rose, rookie of the year. And by the time I was a senior, I just bro, if you give me that chance, I'm telling you, I'm good. So that's where it was, man. It just was it's a journey that's a blur. Like when I do this Instagram thing, I just got on Instagram a year ago.
Yeah, I saw pictures. So.
It's blowing my mind, it's because it's that's me.
Yeah.
I'm watching me and Jordan play up and down the court. It's I'm yo, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Because I never was in that space thinking that I was in the league. I'm just thinking I'm here. I'm doing what I do.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? So,
kids playing all over the country back in my day, pretending they were playing Michael Jordan.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So that's what's at for me now. I'm really for the first time enjoying that shit.
Yeah,
for the first time just sitting back okay, I was that dude.
Of course.
They did. I felt totally underrated at this point. Looking at myself damn, I feel like I should have had the opportunity to do more, but so be the case, and I would never change anything, man. I had a blessed life on and off the court.
Being from Mattapan, of course.
You're from Mattapan, Big Shug? You never mentioned it.
You know what I mean? Well, they know it, and those who are younger than me a lot know from my plights and street shit, whatever it was. I always felt a kid from Boston that could play should go to one of them schools. You know what I mean? So to see that really happen, like I didn't know about the football thing until me and you recently had a conversation, which was amazing to me, and I relayed to my son because I was like, wow, did you know Dana, ran the 4.3 and blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, wow, we didn't, you know what I mean? You didn't only get drafted in the NBA, it was the first round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you was still at it, like you said, it was still at a time of the NBA was physical then. You was getting, for lack of words, you was getting fucked up.
Yeah, close.
You know what I mean? So,
straight close line. Shorty, I'm warning you. Next time you come through, that's what's coming.
And coaches was, listen, when that little dude come through here, you know what I'm saying, let him get it. So you knew that playing. So it was a tougher time because you didn't only have to be tough, you also had to be skilled. Then you like, damn, I'm getting drafted in the first round. Like, what was that feeling like,
It was crazy because this is a great story. I tell it to all the kids all the time. So I'm in Chicago on draft day, and I'm Michael Jordan, everything. Like I'm like, you see me in my high school photos, I got my tongue out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got a knee brace on. Like Mike ain't shit wrong with my knee. I'm just like Mike got a knee brace, I got a knee brace. So I'm in Chicago. The morning of the draft, I did my workout the day before. Doug Collins is the coach. I'm sitting with him, Jerry Reinsdorf, and the trainer, and they're like, Dana, we're taking you with the 21st pick. So I'm like, oh shit, like I'm bugging. So I fly back, because we didn't have no cell phones, no computers, so I fly back to the crib. It's like 3 in the afternoon, the draft is at 8. I'm going from park to park. Yo, I'm going to Chicago. I'm going playing with MJ. Like, I'm bugging. So I'm sitting at the draft, watching the draft, and I left the crib because there's like 100 people at the crib on Clocker Street. I just went to my man's crib. And I'm just talking to him, and then David Stern gets up and like, with the 16th pick, Seattle Sonics select Dana Barros or some shit like that, right? So I'm like, Dana Barros? And my man's like, yo, that's you. And I'm like, no, time out. I wanted to go to Chicago.
Right.
Play with MJ. So I'm like hot. I'm super hot.
Right. Jeez.
But then after I got home and everybody's on the street like, let the tears go, and I was like, okay. And I can't really, I'm not mad no more. Like, okay, I'm going to Seattle. So I get to Seattle, but the draft day, they asked me to go to New York. And I was like, nah, because I might be sitting in that back room. You know what I mean? Because I thought I was, late first round. But that's the crazy thing about it is I got picked earlier than I thought I was.
Right. I mean, me, it was amazing because, I follow everything. So I was like, wow, they picked him in the first round. And now, you going to Seattle. You know what I'm saying? So now, they always had this thing about you being a little dude. And I remember they used to just say that you had that look like deer in the headlights type dude. Like, because you were excited, like a kid look. As far as you had a grimy ass dude that they thought was wild, and Sean Kemp. So they was like, yo, this dude and this dude. But the mesh was the shit though. Like for that moment, it was like, yo, because everybody know the Rain Man, and he was wild, and I got 75 kids with 10 women. You know what I mean? So, and then you got, and your persona was never portrayed that way. Like you had game, you played. So now these two dudes, was on the squad, and it's like, yo, how was it even playing with him? Like that was a wild ass dude. And we know that from afar, but then I know some other shit because being in hip hop and traveling some of the same circles. So, how was he as a teammate and a person with you? You know what I mean?
It was crazy, my man. It's crazy. We lived next door to each other the first 2 years. So I get out there, and he's already out there. We just, we start kicking it, man. He was, man, like I thought I was athletic, So I'm like, yo, I can do that 360. Yo, this dude, Zion Williamson. He's like Sean's son, you know what I mean? Like the term, Sean's like 6'10", 6'11",
I know.
dunking like just crazy.
Yeah.
One of the best in-game dunkers ever. And just to watch him grow, because his rookie year, he used to just do a lot of ish and was trying to, and then he finally got it. And he got it to the point where they traded All-Star Xavier McDaniel. Because this dude needed to get on the court. But when me and him got in the game, you could feel the energy in the building.
Right, I see.
I was going 100 miles an hour pulling up from 4 feet behind the line, or I would throw the lob up And then the next year after that, Gary came. And then then it became crazy. But yeah, to be in that place, man, it's a damn shame they don't have a team because the fans out there was unbelievable.
Watching you, like how many years were you actually on Seattle?
4 years. It's 89 and 93.
Okay, so when you left Seattle, that was to Philly, right?
Yep. No, I was in Charlotte for like a month.
Yeah.
Just on that 3-way deal, and then I went to Philly for 2 years.
Okay, so when you went to Philly, forgive me, man, I know a lot about this shit. But yo, when you went to Philly, it was the shit, because this is Dana Barros, this is my man, hometown, getting his shit on, and that team was ass, but you was killing it, though. You was like 50-point games and shit, right? So I'm like, that's what you had to do, though, because it's like, okay, we ain't that good. But, you was playing for the contract, like, at that point, too.
Absolutely.
So it's like, and then when Boston came through with the contract, when you came, I was like, to me, that was dope, because it was like, this dude went here and balled out, like what you had to do on that team. It was Dana Barros. It was almost like when Isaiah was here. It was like this little dude came through, carried this team, did the best that he could for that team, and then earned the money.
ML was 3 years.
Okay, so ML was like, yeah, get that dude
Uncle
the money.
ML.
Yeah,
he gave me that bag.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And see, so that's what happened. When Dana went to Boston, now come on. You're from Boston.
That's our first fan question.
So, yeah.
Our first fan question is, what was it like playing for the Boston Celtics, being from Boston?
It was crazy how I got here, because here's what happened. I'm in Philly. I just had an all-star year. I'm in Philly's only offering me like a 3-year, $9 million deal. Right. So I'm like, nah, Washington's offering me a 5-year, $17 million deal. So I'm in Washington, just left meeting with the Bullets. That's Chris Webber, Juwan Howard team.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So I'm about to sign with them. So we're driving back from Washington to Philly to get my stuff. And I'm going back to Boston. Me and my agent's like, I'm gonna call ML just to tell him you're gonna lose out on signing Dana. We thought this shit was a joke.
Right.
So we like, all right, I'm gonna just call him. We gonna tell him blah, blah, blah. I swear to you, ML was like, yo, don't sign. I'm gonna call you right back. So we was like, whatever. We clicked and we driving. By the time we got to Philly, he offered me like 6 years and $5 million more, and we was in the car like, yo, this shit just happened? That's how I got here, was a phone call on an hour ride where I just said, let me call my man and just see what he gonna say that I'm signing with Washington. So when I got here, I knew we were supposed to sign the next day. ML was like, I'm driving back to Boston, and he's like, I get there like, I don't know, like 12 or 1. We get the contract worked out. It's like 4:30. So he's like, yo, we'll sign the contract tomorrow. I'm like, nah, bullshit. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I'm coming. I'm getting on 93 right now. Right. And he's like, nah, it's traffic. I'm like, bro, listen, I'm not going to sleep until I sign this contract. Dude, I got on my motorcycle. I had a 1,000, like the Yamaha. Yeah. I'm in traffic on 93, breakdown lane.
Wow.
Because I said, I'm not doing anything until I sign this paper.
Right.
And then I was good, because I felt like, man, if I go to sleep, like some shit could happen. Or I could have a car accident. So I was late, but they waited, and I was like, nah, we doing this. We doing this.
I'm surprised they let you drive a motorcycle.
I wasn't supposed to.
Oh, okay.
I knew the traffic was crazy, so I'm like, I'm gonna hit the breakdown, man.
It was amazing to me because, like I said, Boston kid, you know what I'm saying, Boston College, even though it was a roundabout way, then to Boston, to team. You know what I mean? So I'm like, damn, I'm loving the movement, because I'm like, wow, man, you were an under 6 footer. You know what I mean? But at a time when basketball was inside out, meaning like they was trying to get big men. You know what I mean?
Guards was big.
Yeah,
Jason Kidd 6'4".
Oh,
Gary
yeah.
Payton 6'4".
Yeah.
Guards was big.
And but you could shoot too. So it was like, man. But when you came to Boston, and how many years were you in Boston?
6 years.
Okay, yeah. See, that was a long stint.
3 with ML and 3 with Pretty Ricky.
Yeah. Oh yeah. ML though was just, man. ML was just like, that shit was some wild shit. You know what I mean?
Tim Duncan was coming out, man. So like just to keep it a buck, like it was like, we start the game off. If I went in and hit like 3 threes, they was like, get his ass out.
Yeah, sit down. Yeah.
You know, and then they didn't. And that's why Rick Pitino took the job, because we were supposed to get 2 lottery picks, like the first and the third pick. So
Right.
he's thinking we definitely gonna get the first pick and we gonna get Tim Duncan. So that's why he took the job. But him taking the job, it pushed Larry Bird out.
Right.
Which was bad. Bad for the organization. But they were trying to, and it's not this ownership group. What happened was they were trying to sell the team. So they wanted Rick Pitino, who had just won a national championship, to hire him as a coach to boost the value of the team, thinking that they could sell it for more. So that's kind of what the whole thing of him coming in was. You know, it was to the left. It was crazy, bro.
It really, I mean, as a fan observing the whole thing, you know, I'm seeing it. Like, I mean, I was over in Europe. I mean, I've been following Boston. Listen, my first Boston game, I was in the Garden, and the Celtics was playing the Buffalo Braves. The Buffalo Braves had Bob McAdoo and Randy Smith with the Afro. And we had Havlicek, Collins, smoky shit. Everybody's this big from where I'm sitting. Right? But I'm like, yo, that's how Boston I am. You know what I mean? So I'm like, when we get to all the way to you, like in that era of the time, when Boston was finding its way, like obviously because after the championship years and all that, and now it was floating of madness. You know what I'm saying? And until they, you know, they got their footing. But after you left Boston, did you go to Detroit or where'd you go?
I went to Detroit for 2 years.
Okay.
And basically came back to Boston and played like the second half of the season with Paul and Antoine. For like a half a season. But what happened was I had ankle surgery.
Right.
And I came back too early because Rick Pitino came, and I was like, okay, let me show him. I'm gonna just try to come back too early, and I end up popping 2 discs in my back because you know how you start running crazy.
Yeah, wrong.
So then I was supposed to not play the whole year, so I was on IR, and they just traded me, you know. And I'm like, get traded to Detroit, and they're like, come in, and I'm like, yo, bro, like my back is like, I'm like, I don't even want to get on the plane. And they're like, no, nothing's wrong with you. I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with you. This dude, he wasn't even a doctor. He was a kinesiologist. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go hit the peace pipe with this dude.
Yeah,
right?
he making shit move in his mind.
So I'm like, okay, let me, you know. But we get there, and it was like about 2 days, dog. He just stretched me, like literally, like I'm talking about. I had a towel in my mouth. I was tearing, crying, like, and in 2 days, I went from not being able to walk to dunking again.
Oh shit.
And what happened was I was so locked up, they wanted to give me back surgery, right? I got these needles this long in my back. And I was like, nah, I ain't doing the back surgery because they wanted to fuse like 3 vertebrae together. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be Frankenstein, man. Like, you know, so he was a lifesaver, man, because he taught me stretches and I played a month later. I'm supposed to be out the whole year. Wow. So that me going to Detroit was actually like a godsend. I wouldn't have this facility now. I wouldn't be playing with these kids right now. Right. I would be like this, churning like, you know, like this, because they wanted to fuse it all together. So I think that was a blessing. It was a terrible, like, you know, bad basketball situation. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing about that is the year after I left, Joe Dumars was like, you want to play one more year? I was like, nah, man, I'm going back with my kids, man. I miss my kids. And the next year, they won the chip with Chauncey.
Yo, you know that shit be.
I was like, dang.
Yeah, you know, I mean.
That was crazy. That was tough.
I mean, one thing is amazing to me as well is that you've been playing for 13 years. Right? 13?
14. 13 and a half. I'm going to take that extra half.
Yeah, take that shit. But round up. That's like 5'11", 5'11 and a half. It's all good. But see, my thing was like, that was amazing because, you know, you don't only have the battle of the game itself and stuff like that. You got the stigma being like under 6 feet. So people don't understand. What are you, 5'11", 5'10"?
Yeah, 5'11".
Yeah, so you 5'11", take that half too. And
all day.
Nah, but you know what I'm saying?
All day.
You 5'11", and now with their so you're always little man in the NBA. I mean, that's just a fact. And that you lasted 13 years was amazing in itself.
The thing is, this is where the Mattapan come in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put on the smile face, but if it's me and you, I'm going to the death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So here's when I get in the game, the first thing they're gonna say is, post his little ass up. Yeah. And the first thing I'm gonna do is take a foul. Right. Because when you try to post me up, I'm gonna take you like this and I'm gonna push you right into your bench. Right. And it's a foul. Right. Now you know that a 6'1" dude is not gonna post me up. That's clown shit.
Right.
So now that's how my whole shoulder. I got 2 tips. Anytime that happens, and I have to be able to survive in that. And sometimes a Doc Rivers, a Jason Kidd, we got a double team. Right now, okay. So my mentality is, if you don't post me up, I might go ahead and just play some solid ball. But if you want to start that shit, I'm coming down 3 times in a row and I'm jacking.
Right.
Like that's how it is. That's my mentality. Like, how you want to do it. Because I'm playing a role, but I got the light if I want to let it. I might come out the game, but I'm gonna let it ride. Like so, that was always my mentality. And as 2 or 3 years went by, they stopped that. Like they stopped it because it was like AI would be in the game. They'd be like, post him up, and I'm like, I weigh more than him. Like it was just like getting out of control with the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, the era itself is. I mean, it's like hip hop. It's like they talk about the '90s and all that, but when people want to talk today, as far as cats being soft, what is your primary focus, and what are some of the things that you're doing now?
I still do consulting for the Celtics, so I'd go to games, like go on boxes, whatever. Speak at camps, speak to corporate, deal with any players that have any issues they want to shoot. You know what I mean? Like, and exactly like during COVID, the whole COVID, Marcus Smart hit me on the jack. I'm coming through, working out at the gym because I was just open a gym for him. Then it became up until like 2 months before the bubble. They came every day. The whole squad came every day to the gym, and we had to like try to keep it a secret. And I'm telling them like, yo, bro, like I can't keep it secret. Y'all got the parking lot full of Rolls Royces. Like swing them joints around the back or something. Like
they got a money game.
The kids
going
started
on.
figuring it out, and we had to, but so. Like my relationship with them is deep. Like I think it's amazing for me to be involved with that, and I've been doing that for 15 years. But my main thing is, I do basketball gyms. I have a Dana Barros basketball club, a 5-court facility, and I have 40 AAU teams. We do year-round basketball, and to me that's using basketball to get inside the dome, to just drop a seed. Like that's the way you catch. It's hard to catch kids now. You know what I mean? So I use basketball as a way to get them in the building, and then we try to create good people as well. So it's a double thing, but basketball really created me having generational change for my family. I went to college for free. If I didn't go to the pros, I went to Boston College for free.
Right, that's true.
So it to me, that's the most important thing, is to use it to the utmost, because it can be powerful, bro. It can be really, and I don't mean that, I see you on TV. Like the people that I've met, just the partners that I have in companies are people who know me from there. And like you said, when you see me, I wasn't on the court like, because I'm a businessman, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be beyond. I got my degree. I know it's beyond basketball.
I coached AAU basketball. Obviously, me and Remy had a couple teams out of your facility. The one in Mansfield. Right. Actually, no, we were going to Avon. See, I had the two sides. I coached a team out of Braintree, which kids had, most of them both parents, and they had money, came in houses that bigger than condos, the kids' bedroom. I had that team.
Right.
Then the other team was kids from Brockton. I got to pick up 6 kids.
Right, they ain't paying.
Yeah, I'm getting
the other team is paying for this.
That's
team.
what I'm saying. I'm getting like everybody that they with AAU tourneys. They with me all day.
Right.
They ain't got no money.
Feed 'em.
So I'm buying all kinds of dollar menu shit. Right. When people see somebody like your size, kids even relate more. Not because it's saying you're the size of a kid, but it's like they think it's more real. Like, shit, you play in the NBA. You know what I mean? And then today they can go to the social media and all that shit and pull it up and be like, oh shit, that's him. Hey, look, it's the coach.
When that 50 game joint pop up, man, it's nothing but it's like them kids, them little 10-year-olds who never see me play.
Yeah,
I've watched that a few times on
that
YouTube.
joint come up, it's like all love after. I'll be like,
and I seen that thing where I just seen that where you consecutive threes made in the game. I think your shit was like 89.
Yeah, it was. I think it's like 5th or 6th. Like
yeah.
But there was like, I was the only person in the last 25 years in that thing, because back then we didn't shoot.
Nah.
And I came off the bench. So I try to tell people, man, like, you know how hard it is to come off the bench and like shoot 42%? You know what I mean? Like, the more shots you take, the better percentage you should have.
Right,
you know what I
of
mean?
course.
It's just like you get better at anything. So, yeah, man, look, bro, like, I just walk in my gym and the kid be like, yo, I'll bust your ass right now.
Yeah, you probably get that.
And it'd be like 30 kids watching, like, so I'm like, oh, word?
I seen that.
So I gotta go upstairs, put your shoes on, and I gotta go be ready. You know what I'm saying? And handle that. So, and that's how, to me, nowadays, I capture the kids because they're visual people.
And see, the thing, I just seen it, right? And they had a nerve not to even spell your name right on the list.
On the shit, right?
Yeah, you seen it, right? Dana Barros. But I was like, fuck it, though. It was NBA players with the best three-point percentage while attempting 2,500 threes, right? And number one was Stephen Curry. Second is Kyle Korver. 3 is Steve Nash. 4, Klay Thompson. Wesley Person, the rifleman. J.J. Redick. Dana Barros, which you know is Dana Barros. And Mike Miller. And Brent Barry. Now, see, that's crazy because most of those dudes are the newer guys because of it's a 3-point era. It's a different game.
You think you would have been better in today's game? Would have been better fit for you?
Absolutely. Like people, they didn't even have. So my whole high school career, no 3-pointers.
Okay.
My first year at at Boston College in the Big East, no 3-pointers. So I didn't grow up with a mentality. I didn't learn how to shoot until sophomore year of high school.
Oh wow.
So if anyone ever seen me as a freshman, I never shot outside the paint. I had 43 inch. I would go in the paint, take a power dribble, and jump over people and shoot like a little push shot.
Okay.
But that didn't work. Once I got into like certain level, that didn't work. And my high school coach, he sat me in a chair, and I hated this dude. Like my mother sent me to Severian, and it's like I'm like 3 black dudes, and it's like 500 kids. So like I'm like an alien in this place, right? So and I got to take the T there. It's an hour-and-a-half T ride. So I get there after my freshman year. The coach, I want to see you every free period. So every free period, bro, I used to sit in the chair, and he made me do this shooting for him.
Okay.
And they used to make me go like this and just shoot the ball, catch it. Shoot the ball, catch it. And I hated this motherfucker. I used to take like $1.50 and call my mother at work and be like, yo, this dude, he's on me. Like I don't even have a free period.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned to shoot.
It worked out for
And then after like a couple of weeks, I'm like, damn, this shit is working.
It's nice right now.
Then he's like, get your ass out the gym, you know, because I'm in the gym all day. So that's really how I learned how to shoot. Was like I was such an athlete. It never mattered to me until I got to like high school playing varsity, and then I was like, this shit's not working. You know what I mean? So that's where all the shot came from, and I owe him like at least 10 mil, man.
You still living?
Yeah, my high school coach. Yeah, and actually, his grandson plays at my gym, and I saw him about a month ago, man, and we just sat up in the office and watched his grandson play from like up top, and it was just a great moment. Taking pictures with him, sharing stuff.
I see players like that can't really take what someone's saying to them.
Criticism.
And even fans yelling and screaming, because when I came up in the city ball, right, that was still the era of the big man. But there was some shit talking players, man. That said crazy shit, and that was just a part of the game. Because guess what? If you couldn't fight anyway playing ball in that era, you was gonna be a fast running person off that court. I seen it. You talk shit and run. And you were like, oh shit, I'll get you next time.
Things might come out of
That's what I'm saying. Russell Westbrook, motherfuckers from the crowd is calling him Westbrook. And you, first of all, it's hard for somebody to be sympathetic, like I said before, when someone makes $30, $40, $50 million a year. Yeah. They don't give a fuck. They're going to say whatever they're going to say.
That's an open invitation.
That's what I'm saying. And then you're going to stand there and say, what do you say? Don't disrespect my name. Don't just, yo, dude, what you telling them?
Just makes it worse for you.
You telling them that.
You're disrespecting your own.
You know what I mean? And then when he said, I'll fuck you up, you and your wife. I'm like, yo, listen, this is social media, though. Like, you know how crazy that shit look?
And the people don't know, Red Auerbach drafted Larry Bird the year before he came out, when he was a junior.
Right.
Oh wow.
And he played his whole senior year, and then the Celtics already had him.
Right.
So that's illegal now.
Yeah,
They changed the law,
That's dangerous
the rules
for him.
after that. And number 2, he traded Joe Barry Carroll
Right.
for Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale.
Oh,
Right.
jeez.
Crazy.
And
The dude was a sniper, man. He was
Have you been watching Winning Time on HBO?
unbelievable. Yo, the first episode, bro. The first episode, I'm like, yo, if I'm Jerry West, I'm suing these
Oh,
moves.
see, so that's why it's that.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
he
like,
was speaking all that shit.
Yo, they made this is the NBA logo. They make him look like a lunatic, man.
That's what he said. That's what he said. I didn't see
Now the forum,
It's
like
great.
all that stuff is true though. Like I used to love it. Like when the Laker girls came in, bro, it was banana. Like we used to be in the huddle, like pretending to pay attention and just watching J-Lo, Paula Abdul, and then the Forum Club, bro. Like the game was over. You hurrying up. You barely taking a shower because you trying to get to the club, which is in the arena.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, he hasn't caught up on that show yet. so-
Crazy.
Nah, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Cause he be
Crazy,
telling me, but when he just said that, and that's why he's suing, because he's the way they portray him. You know what I mean? And it's like
They told him to kick rocks too. They were like,
Yeah.
whatever.
It says right in the beginning of the show they cover themselves. Some of this is
Yeah.
dramatized. It's they say right in the beginning. You know how South Park used to put that little thing up. They do that. You know?
Yeah, you know, South
Yeah, it's
Park.
dope though. Yeah, check that out. It's dope. And it's a lot of it from what I know from my experience being there. It's definitely factual.
Some story with Pat Riley. They played against the black team, I think, back in the day, Western Kentucky, and they lost the national championship. And it was a different time. When they lost to Western Kentucky, he lost his mind. Western Kentucky had all black players.
Whole squad.
Yeah, man, and they beat them like handily.
Beat them.
You know what I mean? So it was like Jesse Owens in the Olympics. Like they didn't think it could be done, and it was done. You know what I mean? So anything of these, there's truth to a lot of this stuff. You know, one story.
Jesse O, that was the Germany Olympics.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean?
Hitler's watching.
1930s, whatever. Where them motherfuckers was like, we want.
So that security for him was super heavy getting out of there.
And you
know
see
what I'm
the whole
saying?
time you're
super heavy security.
And we
for
all
him.
know that Hitler's cuckoo because his ass is sitting in that shit the whole time like
Yeah.
this.
Hot.
Right? You know what I
Hot.
mean? So and you watch
That
it
must
through.
have just been such a reality check
Come
for
on,
him,
man. Like, you know.
I'm the superior race, and then just get smoked.
And you know,
You're at home.
and you know, and, I mean that's
If you look at those pictures, of Jesse Owens, he's running around a track with swastika signs hanging behind him.
yes,
crazy.
We didn't really know what they were yet. You know what I mean? But
Looking back on it,
Yeah,
that's gangsters.
oh, shit.
Oh yeah.
Gangsters.
He had.
He couldn't even do it in his own country. They was on his neck in his own country.
Yeah.
He went over to someone worse.
Right. That probably wanted to kill you.
Gangster.
But he was just on a national level where he really thought that black was the inferior race to what he had created. Because those Germans and stuff, they used to go to camps, right, and be like training for this shit from like being 10. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, they gotta win. And when Jesse came through, they didn't understand. They went and got these country motherfuckers like Jesse and whoever else from out the country somewhere that like came and running barefooted, like, you know, for years, sleeping on back porch or whatever it was. Now you're gonna have this motherfucker running against this dude. Like, you know, like this is, you know what I mean? So
sleeping on.
but as far as like, you know, it's funny too, man. Like before getting out of that and the situation is, we're from Boston. So when you're from Boston, one thing is a fact. The stigma is that it's a racist place. You know what I'm saying? It's been that when I was a kid, and it really was some shit. Like, cause I had to do some frontline beefing when I was a kid. Like, so yeah, that part it was like that. But I don't really feel like it was different from any other place. We were just magnified, you know, because it was Boston and it was Irish. When it came to the Celtics obviously, when the NBA was white, you know, and they didn't allow black players. I want to believe Red Auerbach was the first one.
They had the first black player.
Yeah. I think his name was Chuck Cooper. If I can, I
First
gotta
black
look
player,
it up. Yeah. So
First black coach too, Bill Russell.
right.
You being in music, being in Boston, and just like you being around us, like, you know, gangster, like growing up in that, you know, and DJ Premier with Guru. DJ Premier to me one of the greatest DJs ever,
Shout out to
ever,
P. Yeah,
ever,
yeah,
like
no question.
on any level. So that too was an amazement, and having all that music and sports goes together,
Of
as
course,
you know it
bro.
anyway. So
Of course.
being in every warm-up line, every locker room.
Yes.
When them Walkmans and them Sony tape decks came out, man, every single player was bumping every type of music.
Playing their shit.
And it just, it meshes together. So this shit now, it's all culminated now. But back then, the Allen Iverson was like he was like a mega rock star.
Yeah.
He brought that culmination together of the music and the sports. And now it's just unbelievable now. It's almost intertwined as one. You know?
But like his style, and he was the pure hip hop style.
Right.
The chains, the little bandana on
the whole culture.
Yeah. So that's what he was. Obviously, he was the reason why they wanted to change the dress code, because
All that,
everybody started coming through like, and they saw, man, we got the whole league looking like rappers, so to speak. I'm like, wow, and I'm Big Shug, and these motherfuckers is 6'10".
It wasn't I think the drug testing came in like '98 when the strike, right after the strike.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like before that, it was just like
man.
whatever. But JR was like, we was talking about he was on the album. I did an album, Basketball's Best Kept Secret.
Right.
He was like hot, and he did a song on there. But he was unbelievable, man. That dude was
He was
a problem.
He was the crazy thing about him. He just was gonna smoke, right? And he could do like, see, that's the problem.
He was smelling on him during the game.
Right.
Man. He was like,
that motherfucker smoked the halftime.
he was jacking it all the way. He wasn't even trying to hide it. He
Nah,
was on the court like, yeah, I'm
That's the
about to.
question I had. People really smoke weed in the locker room.
No.
I told him that. Dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I told him they don't.
Oh no.
I was like, think about it. I said, nah, because that would be too.
The fans, like, because the press got to go in there, you know what I'm saying? But I have, like, my early, like, the 89 season, like, I played with players who had bad drug issues and were coming back, and they would let them smoke cigarettes in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would, you know what I mean? Or they would let them drink, like, a beer out of a Gatorade cup, to settle them up.
Right.
Because they needed them for the playoffs.
I believe, you know what's so crazy? When I was young, when I was a kid, I remember watching dudes get interviewed, and I see smoke.
Yeah,
You know?
the arenas was full
I was
with
like,
this shit.
no, I'm talking about like in the locker room. I'm gonna tell you this one. So I'm seeing smoke. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? And this was a long time ago, like older footage than even myself. And then I realized what happened was they couldn't film below the waist. So when dudes were sitting down, hockey teams, Heinsohn and them, they would smoke cigarettes.
Right on the TV.
Yeah. I was like, oh, because I remember I would see the smoke, and I was like, and this was the era too, you know, like early '70s too. Motherfuckers were smoking cigarettes on football sidelines.
Yeah.
So see, I was one of them dudes that's because I played football in high school and low college. I was so into it. You know what I mean? Where I was like, I didn't think that you don't smoke nothing, you don't drink nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't drink, man.
That was the shit. That was the shit
till I was like 23. So we finished with the interview.
I'll read a couple fan questions.
Okay.
Easy Money wants to know, did you ever record an album? And if so, why didn't it drop?
Nah, I did 2 singles.
I remember them
But
shits.
I probably had, and I let him hear. I probably had 100 songs I did over like 10 years just in my basement. Cause when basketball was over, that was my refuge. Like I would just go home in the basement and just wild out with the crates. Man, I used to DJ, make mixtapes, you know. So, you know, but I never did. I wanted to. I should have, but I was so focused on the game. Looking back, I wish I did. You know, I wish I did.
And were you a member of the Wise Guys?
Nah, hell no. Nah, I just seen Ray Dogg and them at the park, and then they asked me to do a single.
That was Hectic's question. He wanted to know about your experience.
So I just did a single with them, and then it was more like they wanted. That's when Dave Mays was starting to do the Source.
Right.
And Dave Mays came to me, right, and was like, "Yo, man, like I need some help with this studio, like, cause I'm paying for them to do studio time,
Right.
and then I need a partner." So I was like, "All right, let me think about it." And then like 2 days later, like Ray and them beat some dude down, and like I was like, "Nah, B, like I just had my son, you know what I mean?" So, but if I would have got that, if I would have met like y'all, like it might have been different. But I think that experience through there, I was just like, nah, I don't, you know what I mean?
I remember there was I don't know the song. I think Ed was on it. We just spoke on Ed. Shout out to my man Ed OG. And I think there was a video, but you were in the video.
Yeah. I did. Ed was in the video,
right?
And then we shot it at Washington Park.
Yeah,
we was doing dunks and shit.
Yeah. It was like I'm seeing it in my head. It's one of them '90s type.
They couldn't show my face though, cause it was
with the trash can fires type video.
Yeah, that was my video.
Yeah, that's one.
But that video you talking about,
Yeah,
they had to block my face out because of something where it was the NBA didn't approve it or Reebok. I had a Reebok deal and they had other shoes in it. It was like something weird.
Because I was skimming and then I seen you and your son. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo. And then she had me like rhyming at the crib. That's why I wrote those little bars.
And you know what's crazy? Like I told me and my son was talking about that. We was talking about he asked me about Gangstar.
Right.
Cause then I was in the car, we was going to the game about 3 weeks ago. He was asking me about Gangstar. And I had forgot that I was doing the interview. Right. And I hit him today and I was in the car, I was like, bro, you ain't gonna believe this shit. When we was going to the New Jersey game, we was talking about Gangstar. I was telling you, DJ Premier was in Gangstar. He was a part of the group with a big show. That's my. And then I was like, yo, I'm going to fucking do the podcast now, man. It's fucking crazy. But he's nice though.
Cause you rhyme too, right?
Yeah.
On that.
We did like a 30-second each. Yeah.
So I just took I got my little bars.
He hit me with like 8 bars.
Yeah,
right? I showed my son that. I was like, yo, he hit me right back with 8 bars.
I was in there. I was out. I was like, yo, wait a minute. Cause I was getting that vibe. Cause y'all was chilling. Why, you got a studio at the crib or something? Or?
Nah, like that's basic shit. What we do, I've gone to the studio in the past month. We did 2 songs.
Oh yeah.
I'll send them to you. Yeah, we should do something. If you still do, let's do it. Just put it out. Let's do it, man.
Do it right now.
You do beats?
Yeah, I made a beat for you guys already. I made it this morning. I'll play it for you after this.
Yeah, play this shit.
Yeah, he got some beats, man.
Shit, that would beat.
All these people you see on these walls.
We'll do freestyle right now before.
Yeah, all these people on these walls. That's me. All that.
What?
I produce records for all these.
Are you fucking serious?
And videos and shit.
Videos too.
God damn.
Mad video maker, like so. Like everybody you see, like I'm for real, like you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a bunch for me, but I know everybody up here. He did Conway.
Damn, dog.
Cool G rap.
Shit. Yeah, definitely. Throw something on. I want to see if
we'll do it right now. Dana Barros 3 on Instagram. Dana Barros TV on YouTube. Or anything else you want to plug? Make sure you get it in there.
Just Dana Barros 3 in my website for the gym. And we see we have, man. I'm biased, but man, I feel like I have the best facility, man. And it took about 10 years, man, and busting my ass. But I feel like I have the best facility, man. And that's the most important thing right now is just.
You got a commercial for it?
We got videos on there of like commercials on the website.
All right, hell yeah. I'll come down there and shoot something there.
Yeah, it's dope. So that's my baby, man. Mm-hmm. But you know, just being me, man. Just like I just try to be inspire these young dudes. That's it, man.
Thank you for joining us, man. Episode 15. You know what I'm saying? With the legend in 2 games, Dana Barros.
Hell yeah.
But great individual, man. Great time. Great speaking with
maybe we can have him on the podcast again and get more in depth into his hip hop.
Yeah, because he likes rapping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But every NBA dude likes rapping, but some actually have skills. So we will be able to put that on Front Street real soon.
Hell yeah.
Hey, another good one, man, D. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is?
Yep.
Hey, excuses have no purpose, so don't make them. You know what I'm saying? We try to glow and grow with y'all. You know, thank you for joining the Danger Zone, episode 15, and keep rocking with us.
On my dark days, I chopped crack on a regular. Ran up in spots and clapped on a regular. Took big fat ass stacks from the register. No matter how hard they tried, they still couldn't measure the hard I have. Get juked when I stab. Grands in my pocket and still caught a cab.